Assalamu alaikum. I'm daring to move forward on my childhood experiences for you on a lighter note so that we can welcome in the next couple of weeks with peace of mind and reflection on what? On Allah's perfect creation. He never does anything wrong. He does not make mistakes. So everything that happens for the very best reason. And it may take some time for you to become aware of it. So I will continue with my childhood experiences, which I believe are proof positive of my basic fundamental message that no one can hurt you or help you except Allah. Now, we left off last time when I was caught smoking in my school uniform. And I wanted to make a small correction. When I left the Catholic school, I had just started my first year, my freshman year in Arlington Catholic High School. If I'm not mistaken, this subject of going up for the slice of pizza was a little bit earlier than that. And you know, it's my goodness, it's been over 60 years. But what I want to stress this time is how it happened when my dad had to come with me and face the principal. Now, the principals of Catholic schools were always women, strangely enough. The real bosses behind the scenes were the priests and the bishops and the cardinals, etc., all the way up to the Pope. But I remember this principal. They were all the same type. They were very, let's say, older, always over, let's say, 60, always short and rather rotund, looking very Irish, as they all were. And they were smiley types, but they were extremely stalwart types, shall we say. No nonsense, straightforward. What you see is what you get. I don't recall her name, but I recall exactly what she looked like. And she recalls me, I'm sure, because this was probably a pivotal moment in her life. We walked in, it was actually the high school, but it was an office area. And she greeted us and said, "You sit here, Mary Diane, out in the lobby," meaning I'm talking to your dad and I am talking to him privately, and then I will let you understand what's going to happen. She didn't have to say it in so many words because I already knew. I was petrified. So I sat outside while she talked to my father and prayed. Of course, I was always praying. I was a very prayerful girl, and I wasn't praying to the cross. It didn't take long. They were only in there perhaps 10 minutes. And she came outside and she said, "Your father has told me that you're not happy here and that you want to go to public school." And of course, I'm holding my breath. My dad's still not even looking at me. He's looking at the floor. And she said, "I told your father I agree with you to let you go to public school because you truly don't belong here." And she said it with a big smile. And I couldn't believe it. I was expecting to be castigated and shamed. Here I have the Mother Superior of the Catholic school taking my side and telling my father, "You can get her out of here," as though I were imprisoned. Now, only now, do I understand. Honestly, a lot of these nuns, they joined the convent when they were 15, 16 years old. They joined because their mother, mainly, wanted them to. They joined in order to be an obedient Catholic daughter and serve the church when they had no clue really what that meant. That meant no dates, no boyfriends, no dancing, no fun, and you're going to be a bride of Christ. That's going to be the end of your, let's say, road, the end of your road. And what does that mean? You see, I want to keep under 10 minutes, so I think I can do this in under 10 minutes. We're almost 5 minutes now. That's what happened to me, and I did go to public school, and I did well, and I was happy, and I found it to be no more pure and special. You know, kids are kids, and we all had our fun, shall I say. It was a success story. My time in Arlington High School, after I left Arlington Catholic High School in Massachusetts. Now, Bride of Christ, what does that signify? Back in those days, you didn't really have a clue about boyfriends or anything else. I mean, we were in the dark mainly about all sorts of important issues. Then we went on to discover on our own, but that's another story. That will be the next video. When you enter the convent, you become what's called a postulant. That means you're in training. You wear very simple clothing, not really looking like a nun, and you stayed and studied the dogma of the church, and you obeyed and you did your chores, because as a Catholic you always have to do manual labor. It's part of the training, which I agree with. And then you go up step by step by step without going through all the steps. And you had different clothing that you wore, and it got to be more big and more baggy, and the colors changed. Right before you actually took your vows as a nun, you had what was called your wedding. And your wedding was to Christ, to Jesus Christ, the Lord and Savior, as they called him. And your parents were invited. They could literally attend the ceremony in the church, because other than that, you couldn't really visit with your parents. It was like once a year. It's a little bit like a prison. And you got a beautiful white gown with a veil, and you had a ceremony conducted by the priest of your parish, and he would say the words to you that you have dedicated yourself with the vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience to the Catholic Church, because you are now a bride of Christ. And they would literally play the music and let you feel bridal. You had this beautiful white dress, look it up on Google, with a veil. And then you were told to prostrate. Now this is interesting, because Catholics don't pray face down, but in this case, you do, when you're the bride of Christ. And you had to obey the priest saying whatever words, I don't recall what they were. It's all on Google. You can find it all. Whatever order, my order, the nuns were St. Joseph, Sisters of St. Joseph, but all of them have the same procedures. The nuns become brides of Christ. I'll tell you, those nuns prostrated face down, arms out, and then that was it. And then I forget if they got a ring or not. I don't recall. But now you have completed your indoctrination into being a nun, and now you get the black uniform. They call it the habit. Habit meaning you wear it every day. And it is long and black and very heavy. And in the St. Joseph order, they would have like a breastplate made of starched white, heavy like a cardboard. And then they would have something like this, which is like a helmet, only it was also starched white, heavy like a cardboard. And then they would have their big black veil, which would go from the top all the way down to the backside, actually. And it would have a white triangle on the top. So whenever you see that white triangle, you know that that's Sisters of St. Joseph. My aunt, my great aunt, who was Mother Superior of Sisters of Mercy, she was my grandma's sister. She had all black with the white breastplate, but she also had pleats in her little headpiece. I should put a picture on if I knew how to do it. I'm not tech savvy at all. Maybe I can figure it out. I'll ask someone to help me to show you my aunts, my father's sisters, who became Sisters of St. Joseph, and then my great aunt, Genevieve, who was the Mother Superior. She has the crinkly one with the pleats. I have all these pictures. They all look just like me. They all look so Irish. But I broke the mold, and I've been married 3 times. I think it was from my mom. Oh, what's that in my tooth? I don't know. It's gone. My mom used to always complain when my dad would praise the nuns, and she would say, "Oh, you and your church. They neither had a chick nor a child. They don't know what real life is," because my mom had 8 children. And she was always very, a bit antagonistic to the Catholic Church. Although she claimed to be Catholic, but she never went to church. I never saw my mom pray. Anyway, on and upward to more lessons of my traumatic childhood. I hope you're enjoying it. Let me know. Give me some notation. If you don't like it, I'll stop. I'm going to stop anyway, but I figured I'd do a few of these. Bring a little levity into our lives now. Okay? Assalamu alaikum.